Hello and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. I really want to welcome everybody that has tuned in today. I just need to take a minute to, I have a little visitor here today. Say hello. She just happened to jump up on my lap just as I was starting. So she's having a little rest. She may get antsy in a minute. I really want to say hello to everybody. I particularly want to say hello and welcome to all the new subscribers that I got this past week. Before I released my video for the Spring Yarny YouTube Hop on Sunday, and if you haven't seen it, you must go and check it out because there is a giveaway on it. But before I released that, I had 218 subscribers, and today I now have 271 subscribers. So that was 50 more subscribers, and that really excited me. I didn't expect that to happen. And today, well, actually yesterday, marks 6 months since I started my YouTube channel. And my hope was to get to 500 by my first anniversary. And I'm more than halfway there, so I'm really hoping that by September I do have the 500, and I have already started to make some plans to have a big celebration in September. So I hope you'll all stay with me and always comment. If you haven't already subscribed, please do hit the subscribe and the bell to get all notifications. But please comment with the videos as well. It really does help me out to get the word out there and to get known. Now, to start off with today, before I go on, I do want to mention that the giveaway in Sunday's video, I will be picking this Sunday who the winner is, and next week when I come back on my regular Thursday video, I'll be announcing the winner for that project bag. So make sure if you haven't made a comment, you go back and watch the video and find out what it is you have to say in the comment section. So today, there's only going to be one FO for sure. I think I'm going to run out of time, so I'll start with the FO right off the bat, and that is what Hope is wearing here. And it's a shawl. I tied it in the front this time. It's quite pretty, and it was a very easy pattern. If I recall, the name of it is Spring Easy Shawl, and it's by Hooked by Robin, and I will link her tutorial. It's a YouTube tutorial. I'll link the tutorial in the description box below. It was probably the easiest shawl I've ever made, and yet it doesn't look like it's just simple. It does look a little bit involved, and it's quite pretty. And the yarn I used, you can't get this yarn anymore. I had this much left over from one ball of Shawl in the Ball Fab, and I really liked this yarn, but they didn't have it for very long. I made a shawl previously in the color of mostly brown with a bit of pink. I don't know if I've shown that yet or not. And then I bought a couple balls of this. I thought I would use 2 balls, but I got that shawl because of the chains. I got it out of 1 ball with, like I said, this little bit left over. And I also bought this in black and white, and I have 3 balls of it, and I'm going to make something substantial, like a wrap maybe, or something else. Anyway, Shawl in the Ball, I will tell you about it, is 40% cotton, 30% polyester, 20% acrylic, and 10% wool. Has a little bit of everything in it, and it is 459 yards or 420 meters. And that's how much it took 450 yards to make this shawl. And I think now this is a 4-weight, and you can see the sparkles in it. A little bit heavier. It has halo on it. So it might be a bit warm in the summer, but definitely in the springs that we have, spring and fall, it would be nice to put around your shoulders on a cool evening. So that's the FO for sure. The other FOs are going to have to do more with sweaters. You know, I've been back and forth. Just let me put this up. I've been back and forth about doing one video about sweaters, and I told you I would, and then I told you I wouldn't, and I'll explain all of that now. I'm going to start with the sweater I'm wearing, and I'm sitting on the other, and this sweater. I told you back in the fall, I think, that last year, about this time, maybe February, I don't know, but a year ago, I made 2 sweaters last winter. And one of them was this one, and the other was this one. And this one, I told you at the time, was way too big. I put way too many rows in the top section before you branch out for the sleeves, because this one was made from the bottom up, and you made an opening here, and you chained, and you kept on going down the back, all in one piece, and then the only seam was here. And here is a picture of that, the pattern that I used. And again, I will link it in the description box below. Now you can see in her sweater, she has rows, raised rows. Those are front post double crochets, and I didn't want those raised rows, so I just left them out. But otherwise, that's the pattern I followed. And when I made it, I said I had too many rows in it, but I would know next time. But it was too much work to take this all apart and redo it. So I wear it too big. You can see the arms because I have too much up here. The arms are huge. I could put 2 arms in there. So I will get back to this in a minute. I did remake it. Now the other, I had it open here so you could see it. The other sweater I made is this one. And if you recall, I said at the time that, again, this is made from the top down. And you go around until you stop and you mark where the sleeves are going to be. And so you join the front to the back here and leave the opening for the sleeves. And then you continue to go around all the way down. And then you go back up to the sleeves. If it's a winter one, as this is, you go around and finish the sleeves. And I said that, I don't know why I can't measure myself properly, but I said that I had made this join too low. So I did last fall take this out because I had to take it from the bottom up to where the mistake was. I didn't have to take out almost the whole sweater. And I took it up only a couple of rows. I probably could have taken it another, but I took up a couple of rows. And then I reconnected, and I also, instead of putting 10 chains, I only put 6 chains under each arm. And then I finished it. And I have worn it since then. I completed it. And I will likely make another one, but I think what I might do is pick another sweater that is from the top down and make it just to try a different one to see how they write it. Now here is this sweater, the pattern that I used, and both of these were sweaters. They're free patterns that I got from Hobby or Hobby. And I liked both of them. I have not made a second one of this, but I did fix it, and now I'm able to wear this one. So I was using both of them as a template for future sweaters. And I decided I wanted this one again. I had a yarn, I wanted to make a sweater, and so I decided it was getting made again. And that is this sweater. And I want to thank everybody for the lovely compliments. This is the sweater I was wearing in the video on Sunday. And this is the same sweater as the purple one, only this time I made the alterations that were needed. And I put in fewer rows in the top part. Now, before I talk about the adjustments to the pattern, I want to tell you about the yarn. This time I used an expression fiber arch yarn. I had quite a bit of this. I didn't know what I was going to make, and I kept ordering it because I liked it so much. And this is called Sparkle DK, of course. Blue, and the name of it is Blizzard. And I really, really like this yarn. Now, this yarn is thinner than this yarn. And it is 60% superwash merino, 26% nylon, 10% baby alpaca, and 4% metallic. And it took me, I believe it was maybe five skeins of these, because there's only 275 yards in one of these skeins. I had one more caked and I didn't need it. So that's the yarn I used, and same pattern. And everybody said they loved the color on me, and I do. I really like blues of all sorts, and I really like purples. So I made some changes in this sweater, and that's what I want to talk about. I knew that it had to be shorter in the top part, because once again, I started at the front, went all the way up, made an opening for the neck, and I didn't make it quite as big this time. And then I went down the back to the bottom, and again, only under the arms. Now, taking some of those rows out definitely made the sleeves smaller, but it still was going to be straight and baggy. So I knew I was going to make the sleeves a little shorter, but I also decided to try something else. And I got this idea from another pattern that I made earlier this year. What I did was, this is continued straight out. Well, I was using, I think I was using a 5mm hook in the sweater, in the body, because this is a DK weight. And then partway through the sleeve, I switched to a 4.5mm hook, thinking that smaller hook would make it a little bit smaller. It didn't seem to make a lot of difference. But at the end, instead of doing double crochets, I did half double crochets. And you can definitely see that it did bring the sleeve in a little bit. I don't see noticeable difference in changing the size of the hook, but I do see a difference in changing to a half double crochet. And in the future, what I might even do is go from a 5 to a 4, and then the half double. But I don't mind this sleeve, especially since it does have what almost looks like a cuff on it. It's not baggy and open like this one. It fits much nicer. And of course, it's got fewer rows in it. And that made enough difference in this sweater for me that I like this better. If I could remake these sleeves, or if anybody could tell me a way to gather up a sleeve. I mean, I've gathered sleeves when I was sewing and, put elastic and everything, gathered it, but I just don't know how I would gather that much extra in a crocheted sleeve. So that's what I never did go into any depth when I first wore the sweater and showed it to you, and I wanted you to see what happened. And I did not put the ribbing on the bottom this time, I just left it plain. So it's a teeny bit shorter in the body as well than the purple one. This purple one is too big, too long all the way around, but it fits nice going around. And so that is the first sweater I made this winter. And that turned out well, and I was quite happy, and I was excited to make several more sweaters. Well, I started on that sweater that I showed you last fall where I have the two different dye lots, and I gave up on it for now. And I decided, and you would have seen this on Sunday, I decided to make a sweater for the Spring Yarny YouTube hop. And I don't have that picture available right away to show you, but I did show it on Sunday, so you go back and take a look. I really like the construction of this sweater that I made for the Yarny YouTube hop, and I wanted to make something in these colors because I have quite a few leggings with this color in it. So before I talk about the construction of the sweater, let's talk about the yarn. I used this yarn, and I was a little concerned that I didn't have enough, and it's not easily accessible to me. I have to order from the US. It takes time. So I decided, just in case there wasn't enough, that I would put some white in the top. So this is Cotton Candy Blend. I'm not sure if you can, I don't think you can get this anymore either. And it is 52% polyester, 48% cotton, and has 271 yards or 248 meters in a cake. But you can see I went into the fourth cake and I used the center. I probably would have had enough, but at the time I was making it, I just wasn't sure. So I used a little bit of this to make the contrast. Now, I did that also partly because I thought it was a little bit boring being one solid color. Now, this sweater is made, it has a seam right across here because the bottom is made going back and forth across this way. I made it too long. Again, my measuring is way off when I'm doing it against me. But anyway, you go back and forth across here. You make a front and you make a back. And the original had a fancy pattern in it, and I didn't, and it would be open. And I don't really want to wear a tank top under a sweater or a top in most cases. So that's why I did just double crochet, so there would be no openings, and I wouldn't have to wear a tank top. They also use two colors like I did, but they use two colors in stripes across the whole body, top and bottom. I think the stripes were equal in width. So you make two bodies, you stitch this way, and then you turn the body this way, so it's really going up and down with the stripes. Then you make the top, and it's all in one piece. You go out to the edge and make it solid across to the other. So you're making the bodice and the sleeves all in one piece, which is fine. I took a little note out of this sweater and decided instead of making two pieces that I would have to then stitch together here, I don't like having to put seams in clothing if I don't have to, because to me the seams don't always look that great. They pull apart, and I don't know. I just didn't want to have a seam here. So what I did was I made this whole piece and made an opening with chains for the neck, and then I kept on going down the back, making them exactly the same front and back, and then I stitched the body onto the bodice, and of course there is an underarm seam. Now this one isn't too bad, the seam here, but when you've got stitching this way and stitching that way, I mean, you have stitches to get into here, but you're going along the side. Sorry, you have stitches here, but you're going along the side or the ends of the rows. And I always find it very hard to get into the ends of the rows and make it look nice without pulling big gappy holes. So that's how this is made. Now, first of all, this makes, surprisingly, because this is a number 3, so like a DK weight. The thickness of it isn't too bad, but it is a bit warm for spring. But the weight of the garment is really, really heavy compared to the weight of this one. They're both heavy. They're both DK, but somehow this one was so much heavier. So obviously I'm going to be wearing it in the early spring. I could wear it now, even in the winter. I won't be wearing it probably into May for sure. It'd probably be warm enough. I won't need it then. But this is what got me frustrated. Once again, I don't understand me, but once again, from here to here, where that seam is, which is right about there, I have too many rows. It's too long. So again, the arm is way baggy. This is shorter than the purple, but it's still too much. I could have taken out about half of that and made it this high. I don't know how I do that, make it too big. And I actually made it too big around. So it's really very big on me. So I said, okay, another learning lesson. Because this is all in one piece, it would be a big job to take it apart. And the seams going here and here, and then the arm into it are kind of tricky. So I said, I'm not taking this apart and remaking it because I'd have to take out the whole back. If I had had a seam here, I could have just taken out the shoulder seams and taken out like 3 rows or 4 rows on both and put it back together. So lesson learned. Maybe I won't do any more that go over the top and actually put a seam in at the top. Then I can make adjustments. So I wear this around the house, won't be wearing it out where anybody can see it. And I don't like the way it looks on me. I don't like the way any sweaters look on me right now because of COVID, sitting around the house crocheting, which is fun, but it's also dangerous because I just end up putting on weight. I'm not getting out and being as active. So that's why I decided to put off any more sweaters until the fall, because I'm back to my dance class and I'm going to be out in the garden in May and I'll be much more active. And hopefully then I can make some sweaters that fit and look better on me. Because I have lots of ideas of many sweaters that I really want to make, and I have I've bought yarn for a number of sweaters and a variety of them, but sweaters are mostly a winter thing. I don't wear sweaters in the summer, although I have one yarn that would be it's bamboo and something, it would be light enough for a spring or summer top, but most of them are for the winter. So I'm going to get busy at sweaters in the fall, and hopefully I'll have dropped a few pounds before then. So that's what I've done with sweaters. And this pattern, I will link below. It's from Crazy Cool Crochet, or Cool Crazy. I think it's Crazy Cool Crochet. She does lots of tutorials, and I will link it. It's not a hard sweater to make, but you have to be better than I am at measuring yourself, and maybe having another person in the house helping you with it would make a big difference. That might have been what would have helped me. Okay, so that's sweaters for now. No more sweaters for a little while. So the next thing I wanted to show you, and that's why I put this. And that's why I don't have as many FOs. I do have some things finished, but they'll wait. I have more yarn to show you. Yeah, you thought I was all finished with yarn, but it turns out that I'm not. When I was showing you all the yarn before, I did have one more set of yarn, skeins of yarn from one company here in Canada that I didn't show you because I decided to reorder. I really liked one of the yarns and I wanted more of it, so I thought I'm going to wait until I have the reorder and then I will show it to you. Well, like usual, in the meantime, I ended up ordering more yarn. So I thought today I would show you all of the yarn that I have come in. And I'm going to do it quickly. I won't go into a lot of depth. The first thing I want to show you is some yarn I got. Let's see if I can get this picked up. I got this yarn from out in Alberta. I've always wanted to do some kind of rainbow gradient, and some places sell minis. I think minis are just a little too small for what I think I want to do. I don't have a plan in mind yet, but I do want to make something with rainbow. Maybe a shawl. I haven't been able to find the rainbow gradient I want for a shawl. Or maybe a wrap. I look at this and I'm thinking maybe even a sweater. So it came in 2 plastic bags or containers like this. And I opened one. I didn't open this one. I wanted to be able to show it to you easily. So this is the beginning of the gradient, red down to green. And then the other one I opened because I wanted to feel the yarn. And then it goes to blue. Actually, that's kind of a teal color. And then a true blue. And then, of course, my favorite, purple, indigo, whatever you want to call it. So there is the rainbow. These are 50 grams, so like half a skein, balls or skeins. And I opened it to feel it, and I'm really, really happy with how it feels. And this is from a company called Small Fish Yarns. It's an Etsy store. If I hold it up, you might be able to read it. And the yarn is a set of 7 skeins of yarn. They are superwash merino sock, 80% superwash merino, and 20% nylon. They are 50-gram hanks, which means I have 200 yards in each of them. So that means I have 1,400 yards. Yeah, that's yards. 1,400 yards, which will make me something substantial, whether it be a wrap or a shawl or a sweater. A sweater probably takes me somewhere between 12 and 1,400 when I'm using fingering weight. This is fingering weight. Maybe just a little over 12. But, you know, I could use 3/4 of each one of them. And then whatever's left over, I would have minis if I decide to make a sweater. But I better be in a good sweater mood and find an easy sweater to do when that happens. So that's the first order that just came in yesterday. And like I said, it's from Alberta here in Canada. Then I happened to hear, I'm pretty sure it was Crystal was talking about little knits. Is it little? Yeah. Little knits and wee crochet are all the same. Well, somebody was talking about them having a sale on Malabrigo. And I do have some worsted weight Malabrigo in the house, and I know the quality of Malabrigo, and it was having a really good sale. I'm thinking it was 40 or 50% off of each of the hanks. So I quickly made an order. and I got 5 hanks, nope, 6 hanks, and one of them is DK. That's this one, and it's in one of their colors I really like. I've never had DK from them before, so this only has 210 yards, and it is 50% merino, 50% baby alpaca. Very pretty color. Feels nice. Not super soft, but it feels nice. It definitely has, you can see the twist in it. I prefer mine more smooth than with a twist, but it'll be fine. I may try to find something else I can put with it because it's only 200 and something. So that was one I bought, but all the others are, nope, one of them isn't, but all the rest are sock weight. So let's look at the sock weights. First of all, that same color, I got 2 of them in the sock weight. It's called Wales Road, and it is 440 yards, and it is 100% superwash merino. 440 yards, so 880. I could definitely make a poncho out of that, or a nice big shawl. Quite pretty. This feels nicer than the DK. Then another sock weight, and this is Sabadura. Same specs, just a different color. Isn't that gorgeous? All the wines, and you know, it could go with that if I wanted to put the 3 of them together. And a final sock weight, Chameleon. And there's the colors. See all the various colors in that. So we got some burgundies. We got some very, very dark. That almost looks black. But there's teal and blues and greens and very light green, even into creamy over here. So quite busy. I don't know how that will work up. We'll find out. And finally, I got 1 skein of what they call their Machida. And this is the thinner version of their Mecca. It's Mecca's worsted weight. This is a fingering weight. And it is, again, 100% superwash merino wool. And it has 420 yards. But it is, see, you don't see the difference. You can see the twist in the yarn down here. See the twist in the yarn. There isn't a twist in this yarn. Like, it's more like a roving, although it doesn't change weight that much. So beautiful, beautiful green. And I really, really like it. And I got onto another site where I think I might order more. I'm not sure. I keep telling myself, you don't need it. But I really like this yarn, and I wouldn't mind getting some more of it. We'll see. I already have ordered from 1 or 2 other sites, so I don't know if I need to order more, but I would like more in this. Okay, now the company that I was waiting for that is in Ontario, it's in a place called Wasaga Beach. So Ontarians, you know where that is. That's a tourist beach country, lots of cottages, summer cottages, and it's called Playing with String. Here's her logo, Playing with String, Wasaga Beach, Ontario. So that's a fair bit north of me, up into maybe the Halliburton area kind of thing where cottages are. So I'm going to show them. I'm going to save the best for last. Here's a bright one my girlfriend was surprised at, but yeah, it's kind of bright, maybe brighter than I'm used to, but I thought it would make something pretty for, there are people that like the bright colors. It is pretty. And these are all what they call sock string. That's the base. That's what she calls it, sock string. And that means that it is made up of 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and there are 384 meters or 420 yards in a hank. And I think they're all the same except for the one at the end. So there's that color. Then there's this color. Oh, I didn't tell you the name of that one. Oh, it was a special. It was just called sock string number 6. This has a name, primary speckles. So it's gray with lots of colors of speckles. Next we have, I think this is pretty. This is called, no name on this one. Oh, well. Pinks and teals, some bluish in there. Very pretty. I like that one. The next one is called 90s Kid. Again, a bit bright, but I really like the black with some of these colors. There's even some bluish into teal back here, and then teal into the lighter, and the pinks, and a bit of a purpley color. Then we have Grape Explosion. Now that one is definitely, says Judy on it. I haven't ever used one that is quite as variegated with the really white mixed in, so, and there's some speckling in it. So I'm really looking forward to this. And this is the one I reordered. I really, really like this. And now I wish I'd ordered 2 more so I'd have enough for a sweater. And this one is called Fall Rainbow. First of all, I love the colors. I do like fall colors. I don't wear them a lot, but I do like them. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? There's even some purpley down here. And of course, it's speckled. So I wanted a second one. Look at the beautiful coppery color. Pretty browns. There's even some pinky red going through that, or purpley through that black. And I believe she still has it, and I'm tempted to get 2 more, and then I could make a sweater out of it. I really, really like the color of that. That would be a gorgeous fall item. And when I made the reorder, I ordered some minis. She was having a special or something on minis, a good special deal, and I like collecting minis to put them together with things. And they could have been any weight. I lucked out. She sent me all the sock string in the fingering weight. So I was happy with that. And one last acquisition, and this was a fluke. I just recently started following Karen Hooley, Whooley. I actually have done a pattern of hers. It's a finished object that I finished a week or so ago that I will show you next time. And started following her. She had some lovely patterns that I had to get. And in one of her newsletters or videos, she mentioned that she was destashing, much like Reggie is destashing right now. If you didn't know, Reggie is moving, so she's destashing. If you go to her Etsy shop, you'll find some mystery bags. Anyway, she was destashing, and the prices were mostly about half of their original price. So I had to grab a few, not a lot. This one is a little stiffer than the others. It's 100% wool and it's 215 yards. I would say it's a DK. It's a couple of strands wound together, but definitely in colors that I like. So I'll make a scarf or something, and I might even put a strand of kid mohair with it to soften it up, because this is not soft. It's not scratchy, but it's not the most comfortable. Then I got this one. Again, I was just trying for something a little different color. And again, it's fingering weight, 100% superwash merino. Isn't that funny? They're both 100% superwash merino, but there's a world of difference in the feel of them. There is 400 yards in this. It's called Green Night. And that should make a nice item, scarf or shawl or so on. Then she had, I just had to go for this. This is Malabrigo. I'll just get one out. This is a bag of 3 together. And I've never seen this. This is a Malabrigo, which is a combination of merino and silk. It says equal parts merino and silk. And it does. It feels like silk. And look at the luscious color. Really nice. And it has 150, I believe it's 150 yards. Yes, 150 yards, and 3 of them, 450. I can definitely make something with that. Either a very lacy open shawl. It would definitely make a asymmetrical triangle. Or, you know, I like CJ Brady, and a lot of hers are 400 meter patterns. So the 3 of these together would make one of those. And that is beautiful. I really like this. This and the next one together were basically the cost if you're buying them normal. And I got these extra. Even her shipping was reasonable. And this one is to die for. Love, love, love it. It is from a company, which I will deal with again, called, in fact, I think I just made an order, called Candy Skein. And this is what they call their luscious fingering, I think. It's not on here. They have different fingering weights. This is fingering, and the composition is 70% alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. Has 437 yards in it. This is one of the softest, see the halo? This is one of the softest things I have ever felt. I've felt other cashmere, but I just want to curl up in this. It is so soft. I wanted to order another one, or enough to make a sweater. And then I thought, well, how many sweaters do you need? I'll have to think about it. But this is so soft. It's going to be for me. And I love this color. It's called Boysenberry Jam. Boysenberry Jam. I said to Karen, I don't know how you parted with it. It is so beautiful. So that is the end of my acquisitions. And I don't think I have any more acquisitions that I haven't shown you up to date now. But I do have a few coming in the mail. I may show, I made an order from this company, so I may show you what I get when they arrive, which will be, probably a month before I show you that. So anyway, that brings us to the end of another episode, and it went far longer than I would have liked, but I thought it was better to show you all of the acquisitions at one time rather than a little bit here and there. I think I spent longer than I should have on the sweaters. Next week, I'm going to do something different than I have ever done before, and that is I'm going to do a review of Efa Yarns. I've already started to make swatches on most of their yarns. I have used a lot of them, but not all of them. And I really want to, besides telling you, hey, this is an EFA yarn, I want to tell you what they are like to work with, what I see as their good and bad properties or points, how they are to work with, what they look like when you work them up. I thought I would do them all in one video. So other than what I'm wearing next week, I won't have any any FOs to show. But the following week will be all FOs. I'll have a lot of things to show and one or two surprises. So be sure to stay tuned next week if you are interested at all at knowing anything about expression fiber arts and to find out the results of the draw that I will be making this Sunday. So until then, happy hooking.